All right, guys, here we are. Here we are for another Inner Circle athletes, coaches, parents. I'm very excited to share with you a few things that I've been working on with my one-on-one mindset students as well as the college athletes that I work with. And these things have been incredibly impactful for them. And so, as always, I'm going to share them with you guys. So, without further ado, let's get into this because you guys are busy. You got games, you got practices, you got trainings. So, this is the Inner Circle Mindset Performance Academy. Athletes come to these trainings to keep their minds right. Right. As long as you proactively pour into your own mind, as long as you proactively do the work, you'll avoid a lot of the unnecessary pitfalls, whether it's mental pitfalls, physical pitfalls that a lot of other athletes face. You're going to shortcut your success. You're not going to have to fail as many times. Of course, there's still going to be failure in life, which is learning. But the reason why athletes come on these trainings is to be proactive, to prepare their minds, and to build habits of success. And so that's what we're going to do on this training. A winning athlete. We always got to go through the definition of this because it's really important that you understand what we mean when we say winning athlete, because this is the winning athlete inner circle. The winning athlete, number one, he or she is marked by the fact that they choose their own definition of success, one that is based on what you can control and what really matters to you. So my question for you is always, have you written down what success means to you, or are you using someone else's definition? Number two, winning athletes ask, how can I contribute 5 times more often than what can I get? And as a result, they tend to get more. They tend to be starters or great contributors on the team. They get to have that fulfillment knowing that they're making a difference. And that's what a winning athlete really is a leader. They lean into the hard, uncomfortable things. They're courageous. This is the whole Buffalo mindset that I talk about in my second book, Athlete, I'm Talking to You. And then lastly, they spend 1% of their time and energy focused on problems, 99% on solutions. What does that equate to? That's about 14.4 minutes a day. When you focus on solutions, you get solutions. When you focus on problems, we know what happens. So that's a winning athlete. And the way that you'll be successful over these next, honestly, 15 to 20 minutes is have a pen and paper, grab a pen and paper right now, because writing creates clarity and clarity precedes breakthroughs. Lean in, not literally, although leaning in literally is good. It means be courageous, right? Be courageous. And if something on this call makes you feel insecure or makes you feel challenged, lean into that because that's what's going to help you be more successful. Remember, we go fast. Today's probably going to be more like 20 minutes and then play all out, be honest and engage. Okay, quick reflection before we jump into the content today. I want you to, as always, write down 3 wins or ways that you've made progress in the last 30 days. We do these training sessions once a month. So over the last 30 days, what are 3 wins that you've had or ways that you've made progress? Go ahead and write those down on paper. Think about it first. Sometimes it takes a few minutes, especially if you're not in the habit of doing this. Um, Athletes who are part of our program consistently, they build progress mindsets. And for me, I was a perfectionist for a long, long time. And I used to be proud of it, but then I realized it was actually hurting me more than helping me. And so I never really appreciated my progress. I never really thought about how far I've come. I was always just focused on what's next. How do I get to my big goal? And while that can motivate you, it also can burn you out really quickly. And then you look back on your journey and you didn't really enjoy it. So make sure you write down these wins every week. Write them down every week. Where have you made progress? How are you different? I'm going to give you a couple examples as we get ready to head into the first point, the first lesson today. Maybe over the last 30 days, your work ethic has been higher. Maybe you have been mentally in a better place. You've been able to overcome mistakes faster. Maybe the way that you're different now than you were a month ago is your skills, right? Maybe your swing, your mechanics have improved. Maybe you fixed your jump shot. Maybe you've been making more free throws. Maybe you won a big match in your last tennis tournament. Maybe you dropped time in your swim meet, or maybe you just tried something new. You took a risk that you didn't always used to take. Maybe you had a good, courageous conversation with coach. Go ahead and write those down. And we're going to transition in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Lesson 1 for the day. You can suffer or you can adjust. You can suffer or you can adjust. Recently, I was working with an athlete who he had a new coach come in, and he was not excited about it. He loved his old coach. He missed his old coach. His old coach understood him. His old coach's system fit well with his style of play. And so he was down. He was frustrated about it. And he was talking about it nonstop. Every time we would talk, Coach Andrew, I can't believe this. This is awful. My new coach, I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna try to do things his way, but I'm just like, this is not fun. Right. I'm just not excited about this. And all of his energy was directed towards something that he could not change. And therefore he didn't realize this, but he was choosing to suffer. And that's a choice. Lesson 1 is all about change. How are you dealing with the change that's in your life? A new coach, maybe a new role. Maybe you've been given a new role on the team. Maybe it's in the middle of a game and your team is losing. And instead of choosing to adjust the way that you're playing, you're just like, whatever, this is just going to be the way it is. And you've got this suffer mindset, right? You just are staying still because sometimes it's comfortable to stay the way you are or to want to not change. It's comfortable, but man, it's like laying on a bed of nails. Like the bed of nails is not quite piercing your skin. Sorry if that's too graphic, but it would be harder to get up and change. And so you can suffer or you can adjust. Say that yourself out loud. I can suffer or I can adjust. I can suffer right now or I can adjust. I can suffer right now or I can adjust. I can change. So my questions for you. Number 1, what changes are you currently going through in your sports, your school, or your relationships in your life? Go ahead and take a second, write these things down. What changes are you currently going through? I mentioned a couple. Maybe you got moved into a new position. Maybe you have a new coach. Maybe you just got out of a relationship. New teachers. What changes are you currently going through? Write those down. And then as you're writing them down, I just want you to think about and even write these down too. How do you typically deal with change? How would your coach say that you deal with change? How would your parents say that you deal with change? How do you do with handling it? Maybe your answer would be not great. I resist it. I hate it. Maybe your answer would be I really want to be good at it because I know it's important, but man, I find myself always trying to stay too comfortable. I never quite get out of my comfort zone enough, and I would not say that I adjust very well. And then the last question is if you choose to suffer instead of adjust, because remember, it's a choice and you don't have to suffer. If you choose to suffer instead of adjust, what might that cost you in your future? Imagine you have a new coach playing for a new team, things are different. If you choose just to suffer, which means you're just going to feel bad for yourself, you're going to feel sorry for yourself, you're not going to change, you're not going to really try to build a relationship with that new coach, you're not going to really try to learn that new position and give it your all. And I don't just mean for a week, I mean for 6 months, a year, right? As long as it takes. Right? You're just not going to adjust. You don't really want to adjust. You're just going to kind of coast. What could it cost you in your future? Think about that. Write that down. This is what's going to motivate you to change. Once you realize what it could cost you, that's when we will make changes. And my encouragement to you before we move on is adjust. Adjust. It takes courage, it takes commitment, and it takes some vision because if you adjust today, it might not be perfect tomorrow. If you choose to say, you know what, I'm going to build a relationship with this new coach. I'm going to give this new position my all. I'm going to be as positive as I can possibly be. My last story would be this athlete named Greg, who I worked with for many, many, many years, helping him with his performance and his mindset. He started his freshman year in college playing lacrosse. Started the whole year almost. He killed it. But then sophomore year came and he didn't. He wasn't a starter anymore. And he felt those feelings of, you know what? I'm just going to be mad. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be bitter. I'm going to be angry. He was almost choosing to suffer, but then he recognized it. He recognized the path he was going down and he made a change. He turned around in the other direction and said, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to be the most positive, encouraging, hardworking player on this team. the most positive, encouraging, hardworking player on this team. I'm committing to that, not just for this week, this month, or until I get my way. No, 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 no. I'm not going to do it just till I get my way. I'm committing to this for the rest of my life. And by junior year, he was a starter again. And by senior year, Greg was a captain, all because he chose to adjust. Lesson number 2. This is an exercise that I got from one of my friends who is also a mental performance coach. And I love this because your emotions, your feelings are your fuel in sports. Just look at that compass. All those emotions show up in games, sometimes before games, sometimes during games, sometimes after games, but all these emotions play a part in your success. And the way that we know this is true is, tell me this, when you're sad or feeling tired, do you perform well in games? Of course not. And so the name of the game with this emotional compass is, how do I get my arrow pointing in the right direction? The first question is this: where's your arrow currently pointing in the majority of your games? Like the majority of when you're playing in a game, the majority of the time I am feeling blank. Which of those 8 emotions? Anxious, angry, excited, happy, content, relaxed, tired, sad. Which one are you currently experiencing in the majority of your games? Write that down. Number 2, where is your arrow pointing when you're at your best? When you're crushing it, when you're doing your thing, where's your arrow pointing? Well, coach, you know what? I think I'm more like when I'm playing at my best, right before I'm about to go up in the batter's box, I'm more relaxed. Okay, so you're yellow. Yellow is when you're at your best. Hey, coach, you know what? Like right before I get in that pool and swim that 50-meter free, like I need to be in that happy to excited realm. Like I got to be feeling happy and excited and pumped up a little bit. That's when I'm at my best. I don't know about him or her, but I know when I'm at my best, I'm this. Where's your arrow pointing out when you're at your best? And then lastly, what do you need to do to get your arrow pointing that way? What do you need to do? What can you do before a game? So like think about this. Like you know that for you, let's say you do really well when you're angry. Some players do. Michael Jordan played at his best when he was angry. You play best when you are stressed. When you have high stress and you're angry. Not like too high stress, but like just enough. Well, before a game, Michael Jordan used to imagine that his teammate or the other team, the guys on the other team, were talking smack about him. He would just imagine it so it would get him mad. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be you, but that's what he did before games to make sure that his arrow was pointing in the right direction. You follow me? Maybe you're the kind of athlete that does best when you're excited and happy, but you saw somebody else that liked to listen to music and just be really chill before games. And so you're always here and you're wondering why you're not performing at your best. Well, you're not at your best when you're here. You're at your best when you're green. So that's why you got to figure out where is your arrow pointing when you're at your best, and then how do you get there? So what can you do before a game to move your needle? What about in between plays? I was working with a softball player who she performs best when she is relaxed. Right before she goes up to bat, especially when she's relaxed, she's at her best. She's been finding herself feeling more anxious though. And so we came up with a game plan to get her feeling relaxed. And for her, it was the mindset reset tool. So she picked the word confident. She would open and close her hand as she was taking a deep breath. Confident, 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 confident. And she would actually open and close her hand really slow because that helped her feel more relaxed than if she did it really fast. Really fast made her more anxious, right? Really slow, slow movements. And so that was her tool in between at bats or in between pitches, even. So for you, and this is what we would do if we had a one-on-one session, we would craft your personal game plan to get your arrow pointing the right way. That's key, right? So if you want to do one-on-one, contact me separately, but this is for you to create on your own in today's session. And then lastly, when you're not in your sweet spot, basically, when things are not going your way during a game, what do you got to do to get your arrow pointing in the right direction? When are you at your best? Take a minute and write down the answer to that question of what do I need to do? What can I do to get myself in the right color? I'll give you a hint as you're thinking about this. The words that you say to yourself, what you do with your physiology, your eye contact, your breathing, your posture, your facial expressions, right? Like some people are telling me, like Coach Andrew, I don't know why I'm not playing at my best right now. And the look on their face says sad and tired all day long, but when they're at their best, they're excited and happy. So I'm like, well, first off, just smile. Just smile. Try that. They're like, yeah, but I don't want to smile if I'm not feeling it. I'm like, no, that's the point. Like, if you want to get your arrow pointing the right way, you're probably gonna have to do something you don't feel like doing. And so it could be, like I said, your self-talk, what you say to yourself, your physiology, the way you use your face, the way you move your body, right? If you're someone that likes to be that plays better when you're happy and excited, you might have to jump around a little bit, right? Smile a little bit, high five your teammates a little bit, listen to some pump up music, excited music, right? Whatever it is for you, you got to have routines that move you towards the way you want your arrow pointing. And so it's self-talk, it's your physiology, and then what you choose to think about and focus on. If you focus on the fact that you're nervous, if you focus on um, uh, your last at bat where you didn't succeed, if you're thinking about those things, you're probably not going to get to the arrow pointing the way you want it to. But maybe if you think about something in your life that excites you and makes you happy, even if, here's a hint, even if it's not about your sport, if you get yourself in the right emotional place, you will perform better. So that's the emotional compass. I would love to go. This one is special. I would love to go deeper on this one with you in a one-on-one session. It's worth it. Contact me, Andrew at pfpfit.com, and we can really lock in a routine for you. And once you have this routine, the cool thing is you have it for life and you have a game plan of what you need to do to be successful. Last lesson, crush your commitments. Crush your commitments. I recently had an athlete, a tennis player, who she was honest with me at least. She said, you know what, Andrew, I've got these big goals, but my actions have not necessarily been lining up with my big goals, and I know it. And my parents are a little frustrated at me for it because they invest a lot of time and energy and money into my success. And I've told them that I want to play at the collegiate level, but Andrew, I'm just like, I don't feel like doing certain skills and drills on off days for tennis. I just don't feel like it right now. I said, perfect, because commitments have nothing to do with feelings. Commitments have nothing to do with feelings. People who are successful at what they do set up systems of accountability in their life so that they do the things they committed to doing, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. I'm going to read that again because this is a really important quote. People who are successful at what they do set up systems of accountability in their life so that they do the things they committed to doing, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. Take a screenshot of that, take a picture of it with your phone. This is everything. So, step one, write down your commitments for me. Typically, these are things that are necessary to reach your goals that you may not always feel like doing. It's the things that you replace. You replace these things with scrolling on your phone, doing things that feel good right now but aren't going to help you in your future. And they're not all bad as long as you have a balance. But again, the reason why you're listening to this right now is probably because you could be doing better. And so these are those things that, you know what, you're going to look back and be like, I wish I would have done more blank. I wish I would have watched more game film. I wish I would have read more mental toughness books. I wish I would have asked my coach or one of the upperclassmen for help and to partner up with them on off days and do some drills together. Like, these are the things that you really know you should be doing. I wish I would have gone out and just gotten 50 more free throws a day up. I wish I would have gone out and just worked on my shadow swings for tennis. Or I wish I would have gotten the pool and worked on some of my backstrokes. Like, for you, Specifically, what are the commitments? I'm committing to lifting weights heavy 3 days a week because I just know that's going to make me be successful. I hate lifting weights. I don't like it, but I'm committing to it. It's a commitment. It's not a nice to have type thing. What are your commitments around your nutrition, your fitness, your skills, and your mindset? Fitness, nutrition, skills, mindset, and I'll add a fifth, leadership. Fitness, nutrition, skills, mindset, leadership. What are your commitments? Number two, write down the days and times you're going to do them. Real quick, I want you to do this. Write down the days and the times that you are going to commit to those things. I don't want you to have 50 things on the paper for your commitments, just a couple, the 3 things max that you're like, I need to do these more often. I'm going to do these more often. And these are the days and times I'm going to do them. Every Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., I'm staying after school and I'm getting my lift in. Every Monday at 5 p.m., I'm going to have my mental skills training with Coach Andrew or whatever mental skills coach you work with. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, before I go to bed, I'm going to read the Unstoppable Athlete book or the 7 Mindset Hacks book. Like, I'm going to fuel my mind with positive things. Even though I don't want to, even though I don't feel like it, I'm going to do it because successful people set up systems of accountability in their life for the things they don't feel like doing. What are the days and times you're going to do those things? And then lastly, who are you going to be accountable to? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be your coach? Is it going to be one of the older teammates on your team? Is it going to be a peer on your team? Write down their name, the day you're going to contact them, and then how accountability is going to work. Do this right now. You cannot say that you want to achieve something and that you're serious about your goals if you're not willing to do this. And I want so bad for you to experience that success. There's things I don't feel like doing either. And it's not like it ever changes. Like, there's just certain things I never feel like doing, but I have systems of accountability in my life. I've written down my commitments and I have people that I'm accountable to. And therefore, I do those things. And how's the accountability going to work? For example, every Sunday at 5 p.m., I will text you what I did that week towards my goal. Whatever the accountability is for you, make sure you look back at the other 2 steps. You write down the commitments, you write down the days and times, and then the who. And the specifically after you write down the who, how's the accountability going to work? Are you going to text them every week, every day? I don't care what it is. This is how you can be successful. So to recap, number 1, we suffer or we adjust, but it's a choice. You can change. It's not easy, but you can change and be happy doing it. Number 2, the emotional compass. Make sure you know where your needle points when you're at your best, and then how you get it pointing that direction. And then number 3, crush your commitments. Crush your commitments. Follow those 3 steps. Guys, I'm so glad that you jumped into this session of all of them, because this session, I believe, was probably the most important one we've done in a very long time. Here are your action steps. If you want to join Inner Circle sessions in the future, it's not andrewjsimpson.kim. It's .com, typo, /Inner Circle 1. That's how you can join these calls in the future. Number 2, download the Unstoppable Athlete 8-week action guide. It's free when you purchase the book, and then that QR code takes you directly to grab the book. Read 5 pages a day for 20 days. Then you're done, because the book is about 99 pages. And parents, get the parent edition. It is officially live. That QR code gets you the parent edition. The parent edition is about 30 pages longer than the athlete edition. The content is different, but it aligns some of the questions, and the core principles align so that you can have conversations with your athlete about the important topics in this book. I wanted there to be alignment and unity and synergy between mom, dad, and athlete, so that you can have healthy conversations, you can support them in their growth and in their journey, and avoid doing what a lot of parents do, which is asking the wrong questions or saying the wrong things, or some of the other things we talk about in that book. But this book's going to guide you and it links up with the athlete edition. So get the book, get the book, get the book. Join the Inner Circle if you want to join future calls. And that is all for today, my friends. I will talk with you guys on the next Inner Circle call. Andrew at pfpfit.com if you need to reach out to me. Talk to you soon.